Welcome, students. Today I am going to teach you the third chapter of your Beehive book. The name of the chapter is The Little Girl. Students, this is a story about a little girl whose feeling for her father changes from fear to understanding. So let's start reading the chapter. To the little girl, he was a figure to be feared and avoided. Every morning before going to work, he come into her room and gave her a casual kiss, to which she responded with "Goodbye, father." And oh, there was a glad sense of relief when she heard the noise of the carriage growing fainter and fainter down the long road. In this story, there is a little girl whose name is Kezia. She was afraid of her father and avoided him. Every morning before going to work, he used to come into her room for giving her a kiss. She responded, "Goodbye, father." She felt relieved when he left for his office, as his presence made her uncomfortable. In the evening, when he came home, she stood near the staircase and heard his loud voice in the hall. Bring my tea into my drawing room. Hasn't the paper come yet? Mother, go and see if my paper's out there and bring me my slippers." When father come home in the evening, he would call his daughter to bring tea, newspaper, and slippers. Kezia, mother would call to her, "If you were a good girl, go. You can come down and take off father's boots slowly." The girl would slip down the stairs more slowly, still across the hall, and push open the drawing room door. By that time, he had his spectacles on and looked at her over them in a way that was terrifying to the little girl. "Well, Kezia, hurry up and pull off these boots and take off them outside. Have you been a good girl today?" Don't know, father." Kezia's mother would call to her, "Come and take off father's boot." Slowly, she would come into the uh, father's room. His father has spectacles on, and when he looked at her, she trembled with fear. He ordered her to put off his shoes. When he tried to talk to her, she used to stammer, replying because she heard no sweet word at all. Don't know. If you stutter like that, mother will have to take you to the doctor." His father said to her, "If you stutter means stammer. If you stammer like that, your mother will have to take you to the doctor." She never stuttered with other people, had quite given it up, but only with father because then she was trying so hard to say the word properly. She never stammered with other people, but only with father because he was a strict person and she felt a little difficult to speak to him. "What's the matter? What are you looking so wrecked about?" "Mother, I wish you taught this child not to appear on the brink of suicide." "Here, Kezia, carry my teacup back to the table carefully." Now, his father said to his mother, taught the girl manners, how to speak. He said to Kezia to carry his teacup back to the table. He was so big, his hands and his neck, especially his mouth when he yawned. Thinking about him alone was like thinking about a giant. He appeared so big to Kezia. He means his father appeared so big to Kezia that she compared him with a giant. On Sunday afternoon, grandmother sent her down to the drawing room to have a nice talk with father and mother, but the little girl always found mother reading and father stretched out on the sofa, his handkerchief on his face, his feet on one of the best cushions, sleeping soundly and snoring. Kezia's grandmother wanted that Kezia should talk to her parents more, and therefore on Sunday afternoon she would send her to the drawing room to talk to them, where his father would be relaxing, and mother reading newspaper. She sat on a stool, gravely watched him until he woke and stretched and asked the time, then looked at her. Don't stare so, Kezia. You look like a little brown owl. She used to sit on the stool until his father woke up. And when he woke up, he asked time. He said to her, don't stare me like an owl. One day, when she was kept indoor with a cold, her grandmother told her that father's birthday was next week and suggested she should make him a pincushion for a gift out of a beautiful piece of yellow silk. One day, Kezia had a cold and she didn't go to school. Her grandmother suggested her to make a pincushion with a beautiful piece of yellow silk for her father because the next week the birthday was arriving of of her father. Laboriously, with a double cotton, the little girl stitched three sides, but what to fill it with? That was the question. The grandmother was out in the garden, and she wandered into mother's bedroom to look for scraps. On the bed table, she discovered a great many sheets of fine paper, gathered them up, tore them into tiny pieces, and stuffed her case, when then sewed up the fourth side. With a lots of efforts, she stitched the three sides of the pillow with a double cotton on it. Now she wanted to stuff it with something. She uh, filled it by tearing papers which she found on her mother's bedroom. That night there was a hue and cry in the house. Father's great speech for the Port Authority had been lost. Rooms were searched, servants questioned. Finally, mother came into Kezia's room. Kezia, I suppose you didn't see some papers on a table in our room. Oh, yes, she said. I tore them up for my surprise. What? Screamed mother. Come straight down to the dining room this instant. But that night there was a angry protest. Hue and cry means angry protest in the house. Father's great speech for the Port Authority had been lost. It was searched everywhere. Servants questioned, and then mother entered into Kezia's room. Mother inquired her about the speech, and she told everything she did. Mother screamed in anger and called her in dining room. And she was dragged down to where father was pacing to and fro, hands behind his back. Well, he said sharply. Mother explained. He stopped and stared at the child. Did you do that? No, she whispered. Mother, go up to her room and fetch down the damn thing. She see that the child's put to bed this instant. She was dragged down where father was pacing. Pacing means walking. He was walking to and fro. His hands were kept behind his back. He inquired the little girl. Mother told everything to father. When father asked the question, she again stammers and no. Mother ordered to the servant, "Go to her room and fetch down." Fetch down means bring down the thing that she had made for her father.